Hi, this is Bird from Birds SVGs, and in this video I'll be putting together the shark pop-out card, and this is from the Jawsome SVG collection, and this is how it looks on the inside when you open up your card. Okay, so to put it together, first of all I'm folding along my card base, which is in pale blue, and then I'm going to put the front of my card together. So I've got a panel of pattern paper, and I'm going to be placing this on the front of my card. Just making sure that I've got an even border all the way around my pattern paper piece. And then I've got some pieces for the back of my card. So first of all, you've got another piece of pattern paper, and that's a layer for the back of your card. And then there's a hole there, and on the inside of the hole you want to cut a piece of either white or cream, a pale colour piece of card to pop into that circle, and that's where you'll write the message to your recipient, because on the inside you've got your shark. And the other thing is important to add these pieces to the back of your card, because this is a mechanical kind of card. There's going to be a lot of playing with it basically, so it's good to add some strength to both the front and the back of your card, so when it's being open and shut it's nice and sturdy. So now we're going to move on to the inside of our card, our pop-out piece. And I know this might seem a little bit complicated, but really it's not. It really isn't. I think you'll be surprised. So I've got this dark grey piece, and this forms the top half, the top of the head of the shark. So you're folding along all of your score lines, and then there's one little tab across the top that I'm just adding some glue to, and then I'm forming the shape of the shark's head. Now, there is one difference. I have actually modified the cut file a little bit. These pieces that are added to the top, only the top half of the shark's head, I'm putting them on one side at a time. You don't have to do that. Those pieces are now in one piece, so they attach to both sides of the shark's head at once. So I'm just popping one side on, then the other side, but yours will just be in one piece that you bend around the front of your shark's head. So it'll be a lot quicker to go into place. And then, so once your white layer's on, because that forms the teeth and the eyes, and then we've got a pale grey piece to go on top of that. Because as sharks go from the top to their bottom down to their belly, they actually get lighter. And they're almost white on the bottom. So I've just got the grey piece to put on the other side, and again, your two little grey pieces will actually be in one strip, so you just fold it around the front of your shark's head. So that'll be easier for you to pop into place. That's just one little modification I've made since I did my video. So that's the top of the head done. That's that already done. Now the bottom is just one layer of grey card on top of the jaw, or the bottom jaw of the shark. Now yours will be in two pieces, because the bottom jaw actually opens and shuts more than the top, so it does actually need to be in two pieces. Just pop one piece on each side. And then you've got a red layer to go on the inside of the bottom jaw, because this is, I guess it would be where the tongue would be. So it's kind of the inside of the mouth, but it could also be a kind of the tongue area. So I'm popping this in, making sure not to obstruct the score line at the bottom. And also, I don't want to come too close to the center. So I don't want the two red pieces to be kind of rubbing up against each other, because that bottom jaw is the piece that opens and shuts a bit more than the other pieces. So I'm just making sure that if it opens and shuts nicely and nothing is, you know, kind of snagging, then it's all fine. Now the two jaw pieces, the top of the head and the bottom jaw, both fixed to this red piece. So you want the flat side, the straight edge of your red piece facing upwards. So the bottom jaw actually connects to the kind of V piece bottom edge of the red piece. And it really is as simple as that. So you're just adding some glue to the tabs on the bottom jaw and fixing them to the bottom edge of the red piece. This piece is red because it's going to be the inside of the shark's mouth. So I'm making sure that that all folds nice and flat, and just generally that it opens and folds nicely. And then the shark's, the head, the top jaw and the head, that fixes to the side of the red piece with the two side tabs. And you know that's as tricky as it gets. So when you're adding your glue, you want to make sure that you're lining up with the fold on the tab. But then when it's nearly taken hold, just make sure that it all folds nice and flat. There is no reason why it shouldn't. And there, that's the pop-up done. Told you it was easy. Okay, now I'm going to place my piece inside my card. And I'm just making sure that it's not obstructing my fold in any way. I'm seeing if I can kind of get it any further towards the crease. But it kind of finds a natural place there. Now, you want to add glue. You want to pay attention to where I'm adding glue on this. You want to add it to the red piece and where I've added the tabs, but no further than the score lines beside the tabs. And then I'm just putting some pressure on that side of the card. Then carefully I'm opening up the other side, and again you want to add glue to the red piece and where the tabs have overlapped that red piece, but no further than the score lines beside the tabs. And that's it, done. All you need to do now is add some pressure. I've just got a bottle of shower gel or something just to weight it down, just to let the glue take hold, and then I'm moving on to doing the sentiment for the front of the card. So the sentiment comes in 3 layers. You've got a backing layer which I've done in the pale grey, and then I've got a white layer which is the full sentiment, and then I'm out or emphasising the word Jawsome in the darker grey. So I'm just adding some glue all around this sentiment. If you haven't got a precision tipped glue like I have, don't feel that you've got to trace every little bit of that sentiment. If you just add spots of glue here and there over the sentiment, that'll be absolutely fine for holding it in place. So now I'm just adding my Jawsome letter by letter. Okay, I'm about to make a mistake, but I make these mistakes so you don't have to. I actually thought that was an M, and it's not. When I put it into place, I realised that's not lining up properly. And I looked at it and thought, that's an upside down W, isn't it? So I've just taken it off a bit quick before the glue set. And then I've popped it on top of the W. So when you put yours together, you know not to do that now. I'm carrying on, just adding some glue onto the back of each letter and lining them up over the white letters. So once I've put my sentiment together, the pop out shark should be dried now on the inside of my card. So that means I can finish off the inside. And you've just got 3 little pieces to add to your shark. You've got the fin that goes above the shark's head. And then you've got the 2 Are they fins as well? I'm not sure. But the two little kind of arms, fins, whatever they're called, that go underneath your shark. So first of all, I'm just doing the top fin, and that's in the darker grey. And you just want to fold that in half, add some glue, and then rest it against the red piece, the back of the mouth. And then I've got these other arms, fins, whatever they're called, and I'm just popping some glue on those and placing one either side of the bottom jaw of the shark about halfway up. So about halfway along on either side, and they curve downwards. Okay, so my last step to putting my card together is going to be putting the sentiment on the front. That's because I want to add some 3D adhesive behind my sentiment to give it some dimension. Obviously you can add some glue and pop it straight down onto the front of your card. So I've added lots of pieces of 3D adhesive on, well, foam pads onto the back of my sentiment. You don't have to add that many. I always get a bit crazy with them. And I'm just making sure that it's kind of central to the pattern paper piece I've got on the front of my card. And then I'm moving on to my envelope. So you want to fold along all of the 4 sides of your envelope and then add some glue to the bottom edge of the side flaps. And then I'll add a little bit to the part way up the sides on the bottom flap. And then just make sure that takes hold. And I've got an insert that goes on the inside of the top flap of my envelope because I've got a cutout detail of shark fin. So I'm adding some glue around the cutout area, and then I'm adding some glue to the outside of the liner as well. And then that completes the card and envelope. If you have a look at the photographs that I have here of the shark inside the card, I added some black enamel dots to the eyes. You could also add some googly eyes if you'd like, but I used the enamel dots rather than the 3D black pearls that I had because these were less dimensional. They weren't quite so domed, so they didn't dent the card when the card was closed. Now obviously either tag in the collection will work great with your shark pop-out card.